Namaskar and a very warm welcome to the show. I am Neha Tripathi. Today we are going to discuss a very significant subject, plastics and the environment. The main issue in this area is that the plastic waste, which is increasing day by day, is non-biodegradable. Plastic remains in the environment for hundreds of years and adds to the land, water and air pollution. No ban is enough to get rid of plastics. They are considered a bane for the society. We are all familiar with some quotes or slogans against plastics like "Say no to plastics." Plastics in all forms are choking our planet. We must find ways to reduce and eventually eliminate single-use plastic products and so on. How true are these claims? Let's know in our report.
Plastics, we all use, we all misuse. But are we using it the right way? The picture is getting worse with time. As per the Central Pollution Control Board, India generates 56 lakh tons of plastic waste every year. The 4 metro cities are the major culprits, with Delhi producing 689.5 tons plastic waste a day, followed by Chennai with 429.4 tons of waste, Kolkata producing 425.7 tons, and Mumbai 408.3 tons. Moreover, 40% of the plastic waste is not recycled. And there is another picture of the plastic produced worldwide. The United Nations data indicates that today we produce about 300 million tons of plastic every year, which is nearly equivalent to the weight of the entire population. A staggering 8 million tons of plastic end up in the world's ocean every year. If current trend continues, our oceans could contain more plastic than fish by 2050. Recently, a retired American naval officer and an undersea explorer, Victor Vescovo, found plastic garbage in Mariana Trench at the depth of 11 kilometers in the sea. He found plastic bags, packaging material, and some wrappers of sweets. There are dangerous signs of degrading health of the environment and marine organisms. But there is another interesting picture to this story. As per the expert from the Indian Center for Plastic in the Environment, to pack 1 liter of milk, we use 5 grams of plastic, whereas if we use glass bottles, 650 grams of glass material will be required to pack the same amount of milk. Experts even claim that plastic products are made as well as recycled at a very low temperatures from 200 to 300 degrees Celsius as compared to 1400 degrees Celsius needed for glass and 1500 required for steel. This suggests a substantially lower material, water and energy consumption for plastics. So is plastic a better option? What about the high amount of trash and health hazard plastic is responsible for? There is a lot to understand before we make the choice.
The issue is complicated and we are here to simplify it for you. We includes me and the 2 guests in the studio. Please welcome Mr. Sapan Kumar Ray, Honorary Secretary and Member Executive Committee, Indian Center for Plastics in the Environment. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
And we have with us Professor Anup Kumar Ghosh. He is Professor and Head at Department of Material Science and Engineering at IIT Delhi. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
To start with, I'll start with you, Ray, sir.
Yes.
What are plastics? Basically what happens, we see plastics everywhere, even in our homes. And when we step out of the home, everywhere we go, we are using plastics in one or the other form. But we don't know what it is and why there is so much hue and cry about it. So what are plastics?
Basically, if you go back to history, we have been using different type of materials over a period of time. Okay. I would put it that we had 3 phases. In the first phase, humanity used materials which were gathered from nature.
Yes.
We picked up stones, we picked up bones, and we picked up wood and skins to meet our basic needs. Eventually, we went to the second phase when we started extracting material from nature. The first phase was gathering phase. In the second phase, we went into extracting material from nature, and we had different type of materials like metals, ceramics, glass, and different type of other materials which were extracted and not gathered from nature. The third phase is actually very exciting and very recent.
Okay.
And that phase started in the beginning of 20th century, and we could synthesize some of the materials mimicking materials which are otherwise there in the nature.
Okay.
And these are all synthetic polymers.
Okay.
We have to look at plastics in a very different way and in a very holistic way, like we look at metals. When
Yes.
we talk metals, it's a family of material. You have steel, you have brass, you have gold, you have silver,
Yes.
a host of
It includes
materials
everything.
which are there as a family of metals.
Yeah.
Similarly, in case of plastics, when we started synthesizing, and our good friends Professor Ghosh and other scientists, when they looked at materials synthesized from some input which came from nature, initially we started synthesizing it from naturally occurring material like molasses.
Yeah.
Eventually we found that there are alternatives which are much more cost effective and efficient, and the industry shifted to getting the basic building blocks from fossil fuel petroleum sources. And we have to be very clear that these are all family of materials, and from these materials we make products.
Yes.
Like from metal we make different kind of products. Similarly, from different plastics we make different kind of products.
Ji.
And somehow the term plastic, which is generic in nature, has got confused with products which are made from plastics. I think that distinction is important.
Okay.
Because in our field we have made huge difference with the use of plastics.
These days we are talking only about biodegradable plastics. This term is coming so much into picture. Professor Ghosh, how do you see these biodegradable plastic? Because plastics are considered as a villain, as a menace in our life. Then these biodegradable plastics, are they going to help us in any way?
See, plastics, synthetic plastics and biodegradable plastics,
Okay.
there actually the nature is same.
Okay.
You know, when you say what is plastic, it is actually a very wonderful material made of very long chain molecules.
Achha. Okay.
And because of that, we have very good added advantage. We get flexibility, we get strength, and more than that, you must compare when you're comparing with all materials we're talking here. Okay, they're very low density, so they're lightweight. So when you get a property of strength, and strength, we call it strength to weight ratio is very high. So you have to see how this material can add to the lots of applications using healthcare, automobile, packaging, even building and construction and everything that we are going to use.
Okay.
But obviously because of this molecular nature, the end use after the use of the product, we want to see another life of this plastic material. There it becomes the question which you're bringing in as a biodegradability.
Okay.
Let me tell you, all plastic need not be degradable.
Yes, of course.
Okay, they can be converted into many other ways. We can discuss.
Recycled. They can be recycled.
Reprocessed.
Yes.
It can be used for energy. It can be converted into kind of fuel
We'll
or
come
oil.
on this time for a short break, and after the break, we will discuss the different ways in which plastics are disposed of and understand which amongst them are the correct ways to do so.
India Science is an internet-based science TV channel initiated by the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, implemented and managed by Vigyan Prasar. India Science on the URL www.indiascience.in is a bilingual channel with content in Hindi and English. It can be accessed on any internet-enabled device. This video platform is dedicated to science and technology knowledge dissemination with a strong commitment to spreading scientific awareness, especially with Indian perspectives, ethos and cultural context. The India Science mobile app can be downloaded from the Google Play Store and Apple Store.
Welcome back after the break. We were talking about biodegradable plastics. Professor Ghosh, even IIT Guwahati scientists have developed biodegradable plastics with homegrown technology. What does it mean and how it has been done?
Okay. Compared to synthetic plastics which you are talking about, the biodegradable plastics are actually made from renewable sources, also from non-renewable sources. But main emphasis is that they can decompose in a particular influence of microorganism into carbon dioxide and water. So we are minimizing the residue remaining from the plastics or the polymer that we are coming out. Polylactic acid, which is used as a plastic, that's like a polyethylene, polystyrene and that. But unlike those, this polylactic acid is coming from corn, corn that we eat. That can be converted through the chemical processing into a plastic which almost looks like other plastic granule also, and can be converted into these products, which on a particular condition after use can be degraded. So what is IIT Guwahati is doing? These biodegradable plastics are actually specifically prepared. Specific companies like there are companies like NatureWorks in USA. But now we are developing some of the technology, same technology to develop or convert this corn into polylactic acid with different functional properties. So that is the homegrown technology that is being used by IIT Guwahati, so that we are now developing this biodegradable polymer in India. Is like a make in India kind of indigenously.
Very good.
What we are adding two very important properties. One is that for biodegradability you have to reach certain temperature. It's like 58 degrees centigrade for where it will be biodegradable. What I understand that in this homegrown technology, now the degradation temperature is going to be reduced, which will be very good. So when it's going to the soil, most probably will be able to degrade at the temperature of the soil. What is the other thing is that if this material is used for packaging purposes, they need some kind of barrier properties. See, when we store our food, there should be a limited oxygen should go in. There should be control in the moisture which is going inside, so that the shelf life of our product increases. So during homegrown technologies being an indigenously developed, the scientists at the laboratory being able to incorporate those functionalities further, so that it will be more effective for the usefulness for the packaging. That's the advantage we'll get.
Very good. But Ray sir, there is one thing that we talk about plastics. Now, plastic is a generic term. So, we are not using plastic. We are using plastic products. So, please explain that these plastic products how much harmful or useful these are.
Okay, what we use is these are plastic granules. This is what comes out of a petrochemical plant. So, this is a generic term, plastics. Now, from this, we make different products like the milk that you get in the morning, it comes in a pouch.
That pouch is?
The bread that comes in a wrapper, that's a plastic wrapper. So plastic pouch, plastic wrapper, plastic film, multi-layer structures. These are all different products of plastics of different types. And what they do, they enhance the shelf life of the product. That means your bread does not become stale over 1 or 2 days, which used to be the case in past. When we were kids, in wax paper the bread used to come in a day, it's all stale. Here we are using these new materials to extend the life of the shelf life or the useful life of the product, and in the process we are reducing the wastage of that product. So this is an interesting feature that is
good. Some
that
more
is what
products
is happening.
I can see here, if you can explain
and
that.
If you look at this, in the medical field, if you look at this, you have a plastic blister pack.
All the medicines come.
Yes, all the medicine that come. God forbid we should not be in a hospital or a nursing home.
But if we are
the IV bottle is made out of plastics. Then you have these IV tubes, which are also made out of plastics. So plastic is a generic term. We should look at plastic products. And then we also have products like syringes, which we use it, disposable syringes.
Yes.
So
even the
even then,
spoons and forks we are using,
forks that we
the plastic
use, they are all
plates,
made from
plastic.
different types of plastics.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So plastics per se, the perception that it is a menace is a misplaced perception.
It is
helpful because the amount of resource saving that we are achieving through use of plastics is substantially higher than many of the alternatives.
We always talk about banning plastics.
Yes, we should use it responsibly, and as Professor is also mentioning, that if we use plastics responsibly and follow certain protocol of disposal that you are talking about, we should be able to get rid of this mountain which is behind us in the screen. Okay?
Right,
because
very true.
Eventually, we will not have enough land to do this kind of wastage of resources, and we need to go to the next stage, that what you are saying is recycling.
Yeah, now I'll ask Professor Ghosh about certain different ways to dispose of plastic. Like sir is saying ki responsibly we have to do it. So what can be the different ways that we can suggest?
All plastics that are used, after use, they also have their life. I'll talk about it, what is called a life cycle of a plastics, which is called cradle to cradle. We like to go. So most of the plastics after use can, Now some of the plastics are short time use. Like we use for short time, we use for packaging and all that. So there are many ways we can do that. See, that's what I want to bring it. So that can be like a mechanical recycling. So you can do the recycling of the plastics. Then you can do reprocessing of the plastics. You can convert these plastics into energy or fuel. You can develop. Also, you can use these plastics in a particular processes again, where you are like it's in the cement industry. It's being used directly for burning of plastics, which giving energy directly.
There is one more thing, that plastics are considered harmful if kept for a long time. Like we are using a plastic bottle for our water. It's already written on it that you use it and throw it, dispose of immediately. But we keep it in our home, we keep on using it for a longer time, we keep filling it, refilling it and using it. So does that longer use makes it difficult, makes it harmful?
I'll just respond to that. We typically store water in a PET bottle. Like this one, it's made, water is there inside, it's a PET bottle. Now PET bottle does not release any leachate into the water. You can keep water comfortably for as long as you can. And as a matter of fact, from industry we do believe that we should try to reuse as much as we can. After reuse, this can be again very conveniently and very efficiently recycled into a product which is possibly your polyester sari or a jersey for the sports
That's
person.
Interesting.
So it has value. All material has value, and society is moving towards a stage where we start sorting plastics at source itself, so that recycling and other processes subsequent becomes much more efficient.
It's again time for a short break, and after the break we would talk about certain conceptions, misconceptions and perceptions related to plastics in your mind, and we'll try to solve those things.
India Science is an internet-based science TV channel initiated by the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, implemented and managed by Vigyan Prasar. India Science on the URL www.indiascience.in is a bilingual channel with content in Hindi and English. It can be accessed on any internet-enabled device. This video platform is dedicated to science and technology knowledge dissemination with a strong commitment to spreading scientific awareness, especially with Indian perspectives, ethos and cultural context. The India Science mobile app can be downloaded from the Google Play Store and Apple Store.
Welcome back after the break. Now I'll talk certain conceptions, certain misconceptions or perceptions that is related to plastic. It says that today we produce about 350 million tons of plastic every year. 8 million tons of plastic end up in the world's ocean every year. And there is another perception that oceans could contain more plastics than fish by 2050. How critical you find this situation, Professor Ghosh?
There can be some selective use of some of the plastic product,
Okay.
and also there should be responsible way
Of
of disposing of,
Yeah.
so that they don't end up going into the landfill, as also they don't end up going into the ocean.
Yes.
Like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Even animals chewing it,
Yes,
taking
yes.
inside, or drainage,
Yes,
blockage, and all these
I feel
stuff
we can take care of that.
Yeah.
In fact, I want to bring it when controlling the plastic product. I see even in school it is said ban plastic.
Yes.
It is actually not banning plastic. We may be trying to say that banning some
Of the
few
products.
plastic products,
Products.
which are maybe short life, single use, and that we should take care of it.
Okay.
Overall, we should take care of properly how to handle the
Especially the plastic bags that we
bags.
carry.
Yeah.
That is a menace. I can find it
Okay.
everywhere on the roads. And
Yeah, that's what we should take care of it. How we are disposing them. We should have a proper method of collection and segregation.
Okay.
Maybe we can discuss more about it. So plastic is more being versatile, so affordable, and it has so much of convenience. Okay, and it has added in so many important sectors their application being
Okay.
used. Okay, and it can be compared to any other material.
Okay.
And generally, I suggest to look at it in terms of life cycle analysis.
Okay.
So you see a material from its source to process to its use by household consumers and everybody,
Yeah.
and how it is being disposed.
Disposed of.
And it should be, when you say about plastic bag, you have to look at it, what is the alternate material or alternate product.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
when you compare that from the source, process, use, and
disposal.
as a disposal, you see in terms of the resource requirement, in terms of water requirement, energy requirement, and as a material resource.
Okay. Okay,
And you will see that the plastic in every cases will require much less energy and much less water consumption. That's
As
why,
compared to
that's
other-
why-
as compared to
okay,
other
so
products.
that's why the banning is no
not a
solution.
solution according to you.
And every material should go through, be compared to this life cycle analysis for an alternate material before we decide.
Okay. Ray, sir, what would be
Yeah,
your
just
comments on
take
this?
cue from what Professor is saying.
Yeah.
Look at a plastic bag. If I do this LCA life cycle analysis, you will find for one plastic bag to match its environmental footprint, I need to use a paper bag 43 times, which is not feasible. If I have to use a cloth bag, cotton
Okay.
cloth bag, I have
Yes.
to use it 143 times.
Okay.
So there is a huge benefit in using that plastic bag, but I should use it responsibly and I should dispose it off in a responsible way.
This is also a marketing gimmick that now shopkeepers say that buy bags from us because
Yes.
this is jute bag or this is a paper bag or cloth bag,
Cloth.
and they ask us for a
yes,
particular
we-
amount of money
yes,
for that.
Yes, you pay for that, and like jute bag has much more environmental footprint than paper or plastics. It is much more
For
environmental
paper,
footprint.
we are cutting
Yes.
trees also.
For paper, we are cutting trees. For making paper, you are using water, you are using caustic soda, a lot
course,
of chemicals. So the environmental footprint of those are definitely much higher than what plastic has. In India, as a matter of fact, India is pioneer in use of plastic for roads.
Okay.
We were the country that really
Okay.
started off making roads with using plastic products.
Okay.
And the West is now following it. But there is a paradox.
Okay.
In the forefront of talking about plastic banning, these are the poorer countries that are talking about banning
Banning the
plastics.
plastics.
Plastics are more affordable compared to alternatives, but the poorer countries are in the forefront of talking about banning plastics, whereas the richer countries like Japan, Singapore, Germany, they are managing their all waste, including plastic waste, in a more responsible way. And
That
the
is-
first stage
that
is
is-
segregation at source.
Okay.
If I do the segregation at source, which the government is pushing us to do, I think all of us should do that. And if you are able to
Every
segregate at source,
Ji, ji.
different kind of waste, they can be recycled, and we will be able to get away from this mental framework of talking about banning certain plastic products which are otherwise useful. That's my view.
We are running out of time now. Thank you so much for joining us, Reza, Professor Ghosh, both of you. Thank you so much for joining us and enriching us with so much information. So that's all for today. Hope you liked our show. Do send in your feedback on the email ID given on your screen. Goodbye. Take care.